Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Clumsy Flying. It's time. It's been a while, but we are flying today back with the A320neo. Trying out again the latest developments in the A32NX mod. How is everyone doing? And yes, we'll be flying over my neck of the woods, flying in the Philippines. I've gotten that travel bug again, but since it's been over a year since we've been able to go back because of the current happenings, yeah, the virtual travels is the best I can do. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining. Glad to see the familiar faces in chat. How was the convoy? You have to tell me about that more. Sounds like it was fun. Sorry, I only caught the last parts. Hey Tom, enjoy your food. Welcome back, Patrick. Olo, Calvin, Yar, Jack, and Alex is here as well. Welcome back, man. How was the Iveco? You guys have a new favorite truck? Brandy, I'll take it. Why not? No. Philippines traffic and driving. No. Fortunately not. We can get away from that for now. I hope. We'll see. We'll do our very best. Anyway, so in this stream, we'll be flying there, but I wanted to go through the entire end-to-end process of the workflow. And we'll see how that works overall. But one second. How do we set that up here? Alright, let's start things off with OnAir. So I actually developed an entire FBO in OnAir. Let me show that here. So we have our FBOs. What does FBO mean anyway? I forgot. Forward base of operations. Probably not. But it's like the bases in the airports. So we had a network in Europe, in Hawaii, in North America, and now I made a network in the Philippines. So you can see these guys here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Initially, there are 6 airports in the Philippines where we can go and travel, and then we have jobs there. And in particular, so in the previous video, in the video yesterday, we came from Manila and made our way to Puerto Princesa. So this is where we're starting off today, off here in the island of Palawan. And I found some nice jobs. You can see those with the stars here. Those are the ones I marked. Look at this guy. Pays 1.8 million almost, because it's almost to the deadline. 4 hours till deadline. So if you look at the base pay, it's $1 million. And there's a last minute bonus because it's almost deadline of 740k. That pays tons. That's perfect. That leads us, makes us go to Davao. And then in addition, I think I can also haul something more, which is this guy here. So in addition to hauling 42,000 pounds of cargo, let's see what kind of cargo that is. Food crates, so that's always good. 42,000 pounds of food crates, and we'll also have 9 business class passengers just to sweeten the deal. So those two both should lead to some nice income for us. I hope I get this right. Okay, there we go. No hat, bye! Bye, Scotsman. Ban that guy before he goes away. Yes, I don't think I'll need track IR today. With the A320neo, it's mostly buttons, and moving around the head is not that organic. It's a bit confusing sometimes. It's better to have a flat static view. But we'll see later. We can always turn it on. Fixed base operator. There you go. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, it's hard to beat Alexo. Or Alano, I think. Hey, LL, glad you made it just in time. We're starting off things. Got some nice jobs for our VA. Started off a Philippine network here. That's the plane that I rented in Romeo Papa Victor Papa. That's the ICAO code for Puerto Princesa. That's the guy. Prepare our flight. In military terms, an FBO is a forward base of operations. That does make sense, huh? Either way, I think it kind of works. Alright, so if we take both of those, that should be... yeah, we should have enough fuel for that. That looks good. So we have 150,000 out of 174 max cross weight. I don't think we need to refuel. We still have plenty because when I rented this plane out, it had some fuel included already. But we'll double check that anyway. Now the thing here that's kind of challenging is everything's in pounds here, even in the sim. But in sim brief, I put it into kilograms because I was talking with my friend. He's a real life pilot. And I was asking him about the standards in the Philippines, which units they used, and they said they use kilograms and metric tons. So I want to make it a bit closer. As hair, I know, right? I also just got a haircut. That's why I'm proud to show off my hair today. I don't recognize you. You'll get used to it. Alright, let's see if that's enough. 20,000 pounds. So what I can do there is utilize some features in here. Let's see. So we have a browser. We have something that converts. Yeah, this guy. Simple website that converts Jet A fuel from a different unit to another. So let's say 20,027 pounds. 20,027 or 027 is equal to 9,084.09 kilograms. Okay, we'll need that when we plug in our flight plan. So sim brief. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay. Let's validate that first. Oh, that doesn't need loading anymore when we do that here. Interesting. Okay. Let me move that here to the left. So let's plug in things here. Victor Papa to Mike Delta, that's Davao. And then we'll pick the A320neo fly-by-wire so that we have the proper flight plan. And then SimBrief will automatically assign departure arrival runways in a route as well. That's overall how the route will look like. It's a bit sharp, isn't it? But yeah, we can work with that. I think it's good. 508 nautical miles looks valid. We'll see what Pilot to ATC has to say about it. So we have a departure, SAIRA 1 Whiskey, and LINAO 2 Romeo would be the arrival. Looks good. We'll see how that works. Hey, oh my goodness. Bunky. Way to make an entrance. Thanks for all the gifted subs. Goodness, man. Thanks for hanging out. Glad you made it. You got a haircut too by yourself. Oh, congrats. That's a huge achievement. I wouldn't even dare. Alright, so what was that computation we had? 9,084 kilos. So, oh, that's the problem. I don't have thing here. So let me see something. Zero fuel weight would be 127,473. 127,473 pounds to kilos is basically divided by 2.2, I think. Yeah, so that's 57,821. 57,821, so 57.9, we could say. 57.9 tons, zero fuel weight. Let's start that off first, and then we'll see how to adjust that in a bit. It's a wig and ears. Ears have been here for quite some time, but the hair is totally new. Fly around the world flight. We're doing it bit by bit. We've been flying in the US before, then in Europe recently, and now in Asia. Close enough, right? Alright, let's see. Now the fuel here is 6281 kilograms, the block fuel. So 6281, 9084 minus 6281 is 2800. So that's the extra fuel that I want to have. Okay, let me just edit the flight. And of course, I forgot immediately what that was. I think 2.8. That's it. I think 2.8. Let's see if that works my magic with the math. We'll be doing a lot of maths here today, guys, because the A320neo is not fully automated yet in the flight simulator, in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we'll have to do some adjustments. So you'll have to help me out with my maths, okay? I'll make it work somehow. Okay, that looks good. 9233 block fuel computation is 9084. Close enough, we'll make it work. Yeah, that should be good enough. Planned optimum flight level, that's good. So we are good to go from a sim brief point of view. Flight level 330 will be our cruising altitude. 9233 block weight, zero fuel weight, 57,900, and all the good stuff there. I'll show you how cool that is with the A320neo and how this synchronizes with sim brief later on. Whew, that's a handful. Alright, so we're good there. Now I will accept the job and load it up in OnAir, because oftentimes I forget that and I end up flying in the sim without actually taking it in OnAir, which means it's not counted, which absolutely sucks. What is this? Looks like our co-pilot sleeping on the job, currently sleeping. Oh wait, we can't have that. I'll show you what the problem is. So now that we're here, I assign myself as pilot. We have a co-pilot, Malina Yablonska, but she's sleeping. No sleeping on the job here. So what we can do is we can actually do some kind of thing. We can fire her for sleeping. Sleeping is not allowed. But don't worry, because she actually wins at the end of this. It's like we're paying her to wake up. Because when we go back to the job market here, to the applicants, we'll actually see that she should be here again. There you go, Marina Yablonska. And we can actually hire her again and she'll be available. We just had to pay her something like the severance pay, but now she should be back on duty. Sorry, I'm missing a few messages. I'll get back to you now. Steerman PT-17. Oh, how was it? That's the new release from Just Flight, right? Or I think it's DC Designs published by Just Flight, to be more accurate. Your head will explode. 255-hour flight around the world. Pass. There we go. So now the co-pilot is counted. Awesome. Mike Delta, Bangoy International, looks good. Alright. Let me plug this into Microsoft first before I forget. Alright, let's do this, guys. Let's start things off here. Just about to load in now. Let us know how it goes. Good luck. The classic fans will be a huge fan of those. Weight and balance, we had how many? 20,027 pounds of fuel. So that's the one here I'm looking at, the fuel. 20,027. 48% is the closest thing. And then the gross weight is 151 out of 174. Okay, so let's adjust that here. 151. So I'm looking at the pounds there below. CG out of limit, don't worry, we can adjust that later. 151, 155, I think that's the closest one. Yeah, 64%. And then now, thankfully, we can adjust the CG here to remain within the limits. Just adjust the balancing. Looking good. Alright, we have our plane. We have the right load now. Puerto Princesa. Let's start off at this gate. Weather doesn't look very good. Hopefully that doesn't stick. We have all players live traffic, although in this case, I don't think there is live traffic here over at these parts, but AI traffic is still a bit wonky. It sometimes, I'm not sure if it still causes crashes, but it does cause a lot of resources on the PC, so it lowers the frame rate normally. So we'll just stick to live traffic, and if there's no traffic, then there's no traffic. We have the skies all to ourselves. Alright, looking good. 8:15 a.m. real time. Yes, same time as here in Singapore. Let's load it up. Purchased the Piper Turbo Arrow. Oh yes, that is an amazing plane. We flew that last week and it was a heck of fun all throughout, just flying over the Alps. Alright, let me adjust as well. Sim Toolkit Pro, so yet you have the overlay at the top. Looking good. Let me know if that adjusts okay. So I can load the latest from SimBrief here. Okay, looking good. And then and say network fly now. Is that working? Did it update? Okay, it should have updated. Let me know if it didn't on your end. So a plane at the airport on your map. Oh, was there? Okay, that's great. Good eyes. Alright, here we are. Here's the plane. Cebu Pacific livery in Puerto Princesa. Oh my goodness, I have very fond memories. Actually, I have a very, you know me and my goldfish memory. So, but interestingly enough, I remember something in Puerto Princesa. It's the first time in the airport specifically. When we went here years ago, I don't know, more than 20 years ago maybe. This definitely wasn't here yet. This terminal wasn't here yet. It was very provincial back then. No big buildings and whatnot. And it was the first time that I actually saw people unloading the bags from the plane and then just putting them on a makeshift conveyor belt. But it looked so primitive back then. Nowadays they have all these fancy terminals. It's nice to see. Look at this guy. So this is a custom airport that is from a mod from FlightSim.2. As always, mods list link, ! Mods. Or if you're watching this in YouTube, link in the video description. But yeah, look at that. Very detailed. You even have some people waiting. And you have the 3 gates. Cebu Pac, AirAsia, Philippine Airlines. They actually went on the right gate here because it looks like gate 1 is for Cebu Pacific specifically. That's the budget airline. In real life, me and Mrs. Clumsy, we often take that airline because it's one of the cheapest ones. But you have to be timing it very nicely. Cool. This is Puerto Princesa, Romeo Papa, Victor Papa, IKO code. Very nice. Puerto Princesa to Davao is where our initial flight plan would be going to. Hopefully that's also indicated in the overlay up the top now. Let me know if it's not. That looks good so far. Now those storms don't look very good, although that doesn't seem to be reflecting what we see outside. Interestingly enough. Well, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Looks good. Let me minimize that. Can I start this now, please? Thank you. Fly now. Before I forget to trigger it. Train like a World War II pilot would. Steerman to Spitfire. Enjoy. Oh my goodness. Now the fuel doesn't seem correct, it says. Looks like there is some wrong conversion in the fuel. Alright, let's lessen that a bit then. Let me just adjust this until OnAir is happy. 55. Okay, 43 maybe. The suspense is real. I've learned not to auto set fuel in OnAir because it sets the fuel in the wrong tanks and it messes up with your center of gravity oftentimes. Alright, there we go. That is set. Let's start tracking before I forget. And of course we have pilot to ATC today as well. So we'll also have to synchronize that. If you've watched the previous videos, the recent videos, then you'll know that I'm a huge fan of pilot to ATC. Although people have been saying it does not have the best user interface, and I tend to agree, but still, it's the best out there. That's how it looks though. Something from olden days. Yeah, not the best. Also, let me have a look. Do we have a real flight from Puerto Princesa to let's see. So I often go to Flight Aware just to get if there's like a real airline that goes the route we're taking, so I can take that call sign, that flight number. So let's search for that. There's nothing. Okay, let's just stick with the existing one we have. Right, that's fine. So here, let's connect first. Hopefully this works this time. See the call signs. Yeah, because it makes things a lot more real, right? That's our call sign, Zebu Air, and don't. I had to change the spelling a bit because if I spell it with a C, the text to speech calls it that Cebu, with an American accent. So I had to like kind of fool it, change the spelling a bit. Let's say 647. Cebu Air 647 would be our call sign for this particular flight. Our routing, so the thing we got from SimBrief, that guy, right? So from this view, when we finish the flight, print or view the PDF, and then we have the routing and impacts page. That route right there is what pilot to ATC needs. So let's paste that here, but we need to modify it a bit. We need to remove the runways here. It doesn't like the runway information. Then import that, and then we'll plug in the departure and the arrival. We have the SAIRA 1 Whiskey to SAIRA, and then the LINAO 2 Romeo for the arrival, it looks like. Okay. Looking good. LINAO 2 Romeo. You can ask Google to do that for you, Tom. What phone do you have? It's a very useful thing. Let's see. ATC assigns approaches, because we don't know the best approach here. Let's leave that to ATC. Okay. And then, in addition, we have ATC flight plan tab here, which tells us that we'll be cruising at 450 knots based on the weather and everything involved, all the calculations at flight level 330. So that information I also like to plug in here. So planned ground speed is 450 knots at flight level 330. Okay, hopefully that's good. So with that we can validate and file. Looking good. Samsung A20. Oh, perfect. Yes, that works. So if you hold the home button long, I think it should load up the Google Assistant. Or you can just go to Google, the search bar in Google. Let's say, remind me to take my meds at 9 p.m. And then it will create a reminder for you and it will create a notification. It's fancy like that. That's what I use all the time. Okay, so what do we... So that's good now, but I wanted to check that we have the voices working. Let me see.
This is Amazon Polly, US
Works.
English, Matthew, Standard. I will be your...
So this is one of the recent discoveries I've made, searching the forums and everything. Amazon Polly voices.
This is Amazon Polly, US English, Joanna, conversation.
Much more realistic sounding for the most part. We'll hope it sticks though, because it's not as stable. Alright, that looks good. We have our flight plan filed there, so we can proceed with the startup and everything, and I will we'll see how it goes, if I can remember stuff. It has not been so long since I've flown with this. Okay, but I think finally everything is looking great. I have the pushback helper here, so we can actually... do we have a jetway? We don't have jetway. We can maybe put in some stairs if that works. So the doors are opening. I'm hearing a truck. There's the stairs. Stairs is loading up. And this is how it looks, pushback helper. Let me show you. Oh, it doesn't want... There. So it's like a separate application that has all these buttons. So if you have an extra monitor, it's perfect because you can actually just click them. So I just click the stairs and then that truck loads. It's a very useful app because by default, if you don't have any external app, you have to work with air traffic control in the sim, which is I absolutely am avoiding. So we can also click the luggage. Yes, you see the doors open there, luggage starting, and also the catering. Looks good. Yeah, Amazon. It's quite ironic, you know, because this is a Microsoft product, but only Amazon so far has the cloud voices able to be used in Windows, in the text-to-speech in Windows. Microsoft Azure, the Microsoft Cloud text-to-speech, I don't think works with Windows text-to-speech. How ironic is that, right? Here we go. So all of these are built in. These are all default from the sim. It's just that the triggering of them is a bit more painful, so that's where the pushback helper comes into play. But it's nice, you know, just want to play around with this and just see things working. You can actually see the stuff moving, aligning, and the bags getting loaded, the catering, the food getting loaded in. Just taking your time and enjoying the stuff. Oh, and let's also call in the power. We need the ground power unit here, so we have that truck backing up now. Positioning, so we have ground power on the plane. Although technically you don't really need to do that, the ground power is just always available. Yeah, look at how cool that is. The bags are actually getting loaded one by one, right? And they're getting emptied from those, what do you call these things? Flatbeds. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's see if when this guy is finished, when the first flatbed is finished, if he'll have to move, or if it'll just start consuming the other bags. Oh, he's actually moving. How realistic that is, right? Oh no, actually he leaves already. Maybe those are not for us. Catering is done. Looks like luggage is almost done as well. Stairs are also done. Quite nice. So passengers have loaded and everything is good. It's just nice to simulate and enjoy a bit more realism in there. The GPU is connected as well now, looking pretty good. Actually, that deserves a screenshot of its own. Very nice look there. Also here is quite nice. There you go. Hopefully that was taken a photo. The new pushback mod, the one which integrates here, I haven't. I'm not really fond of it because I don't want pop-up windows in my actual screen. I like windows outside on my utility monitors so that the sim itself remains as pure as possible. So I prefer having external windows, but that's mine. I know some people like it on the main monitor. Alright, all that out of the way, let's go and start up the plane. Turn on the batteries one by one. And let's appreciate the subtle sound effects that this plane has because it's amazing. When we turn on the external power here, start hearing the fans winding up. Not sure which fans those are, those ones. Is that for the plane, for the avionics? I'm not sure. If you guys have info, let me know. And then you even have to dial up the brightness of your panels here, which is quite nice. Just an additional immersion point, you know. It's not just about flying from one point to the other. It's just immersing yourself in the entire experience. It's amazing. Right, looking good. And then over here, just brightening all the displays. Looking good right there. Let's not forget as well, over here, the lights, seatbelt signs, no smoking auto, arm the emergency exit lights, dome lights. I don't think we really need, it's bright really, but we do need the nav and logo lights and strobes to auto. Cruise supply, I'll just turn that on. I'm not sure when you actually turn that on, but I don't like seeing any white spots in there, any white buttons. And the most important thing is we need to start aligning the adheres here. So we'll see an annunciation in there that the IR will align in 6 minutes. Yeah, inertial reference system. Control push with rudder is very handy. Ah, that's a great advantage, huh? Using your rudders to actually steer. Yeah, that might be worth a try. Good point. Alright, let's load up the, what do you call this, MCDU here. So let's go to init, and this is the cool thing, because normally you would plug in everything, right? And normally I like that, but sometimes I feel lazy, and so I just tried it and it works. So remember all that stuff that we've been doing in SimBrief? Here, all the fuel information, the routing, and all that stuff, that is actually integrated. So you link your SimBrief ID in here. I think you do that via MCD menu, options, FMGC, was it? No. You know what? I'm not sure which one it is. SimBrief, there you go. AOC, SimBrief, and then you put your ID in there. And then after you do that, you can init request, and it will load whatever you have in SimBrief. Look at that, super cool. Even the flight number and the cost index, the flight level, pretty nice there. And then it will say flight plan uplink. Cool. It doesn't fill everything though, just the like the main legs and stuff, but there's still some that are not filled in, which is okay. Zero fuel weight and the center of gravity, you can just click on the line select key, thankfully. This one I would want to convert. We have 18,000 pounds, 18,055 pounds of fuel. And if you use my conversion here, I hope this is accurate. Kilograms, that would be 8189, so 8.2 tons. Let's just put in 8.1 to be a bit more conservative. So that computes the remaining based on the routing and the load, the zero fuel weight. It calculates the times remaining, if you have enough fuel or not, and whatnot. Alright, so the flight plan itself has been uploaded already from SimBrief. We just need to assign the runways and everything. That's looking good there. Runway 27, SAIRA 1 Whiskey. Was it? SAIRA 1 Whiskey, that's the one. Good. Insert. Now I do need Navigraph here because I want to also link that up. So let me load Navigraph in here. As you can see, so many applications. This is why you need 3 monitors. So many other external applications to get things started, and it's one of the cool things in this sim. Just immersing yourself in all the nerdery. SAIRA 1 Whiskey. SAIRA 1, this one? Or is it this one? SAIRA 1 Echo. You know what, let's just use that, overlay, and then pin that here. Oh, it's this third one. Okay, gotcha. So this departure involves left turn. After departure, make a left turn, follow the waypoints, max to 20 knots. We'll see if the plane will follow that properly. The only vertical restriction we have is we have to be above flight level 80. which is interesting. It should only be 8,000 because transition altitude is 11,000 here. Something wrong with that labeling, I think. Okay, anyway, we get what it means. Right. And so that's what we'll verify, that when we loaded this departure in the MCDU, that it also reflects the same waypoints in the chart. 602, 414, Galio, and then SAIRA. Exactly. Yes, perfect. Okay, good. Now we do have max speeds, but we don't have them here, so I think I'll see if that works. So if I put in a speed constraint here of 220. Oh, not yet implemented, I see. Okay. So we'll have to probably follow that manually for now. It's good at least that they say it's not implemented, so we're not expecting. Okay. I gotcha. Alright. I think that's it. Feels a bit overly responsive on all surfaces. Ah. Can be tuned, flies nicely. Bit too nice. Especially for $12. Yeah, that's the price point of more of your casual flying, isn't it? Just having a fun time and enjoying the scenery. With a lot of classic feels, classic vibes. Looking good. Everything is set from that point of view. Let's continue with the startup. So we have the departure good. ZAM, Gosto, Sabta. Let me just double check that the things are okay. That's Whiskey 10 Airway up to LINAO, and then at LINAO we should be joining the LINAO 2 Romeo arrival. We do have an ILS here, ILS 05. LINAO 2 Romeo arrival. Oh, what's the... No, we were not following that one. Although I think there is a problem here. I don't think it's compatible with the Novaya, but we'll double check. Okay. Because that's the problem I had in the previous flight. So let me load up Navigraph on the side here. Let me just double check that it's working correctly. And that it has the right waypoints for us. So I don't want to get caught again having that wrong thing. Okay, let me double check. So we start with LINAO, Dewin, Clafu. Then we'll be decelerating for the approach. Opposite page. Yeah, it's wrong. The last two waypoints are getting wiped out. I hate that. After Clafu, it goes direct to Davao. Can we change that somehow? Can we somehow plug in it manually? Wico, will you allow me? No, I don't think you will. Okay, fine. Alright, we'll figure it out as we go. And then in terms of ILS 109.1, at least that one loads, I think. In some custom airports it doesn't. Okay, good. It knows what the frequency for the ILS is. Good. Alright, so we have more or less a working flight plan. V speeds, we just tap it twice. Thankfully, it comes built in. Flaps would be 1. Stabilizer trim, I don't have a calculator, neither the flex to temp, so we'll just go full toga. We'll just have to wing it. But that should be good already as it is, I think. Yeah, chat is not saying much. It's usually that way with flight sims. I'm usually just enjoying myself and monologuing all throughout. I think many of the people have left as well, unfortunately. But we'll still try to enjoy along the way. Unfortunately, we don't have a large flight sim community yet. People are more into trucking for the most part. Alright, let's tune into tower. And let's get our clearance. Actually, Joanna, our co-pilot, will be taking care of that one. Go ahead and get our clearance. Let's see if that works this time.
Cebu Air 647 ready to copy IFR clearance.
Zepu Air 647
works.
is cleared to Romeo Papa Mike Delta. Fly the SAIRA 1W departure with the SAIRA transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 27. Climb to flight level 150 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 9 minutes after departure. Squawk 3251.
3251. Alright, sounds good.
Zepu Air 647 is cleared to Romeo Papa Mike Delta. Fly the SAIRA 1W departure with the SAIRA transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 150 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 9 minutes after departure. Squawk 3251.
Zepu Air 647 readback correct. QNH is 1010. Let us know when you...
QNH is
1010.
1010. Zepu Air 647.
Good. So plug that in the standby 1010. So far so good. It actually works better than in Pilot 280 than in Manila. In Manila, the departure wasn't working. There's something wrong. I'm still checking with Dave on that. Waypoints do not register in the game as in sim briefs. Yeah, sometimes that's a problem, but I think in our particular case, it's mainly that you cannot change the waypoints in the arrival or in the approach. That's the current limitation. Will your V speeds be correct when you put the flaps in after setting them? It should be. Normally that's how I really place it. But yes, let's double check if those will change. Yeah, those won't. I think it's still the same. I think it's no problem. Transition altitude, thank you for pointing that out though, because I missed the transition altitude here. Should be 11,000. There you go. So that the baro pressure will blink when we reach 11,000, reminding us to switch to standard. How the devs are going to port this on Xbox Series X, I know, right? Hey Luna, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining, everybody. Thank you for the follows. Welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying the chill time. We'll get started soonish. We've been cleared to flight level 150. Turn on our flight directors on both sides. Let's double check that. Okay, looking good. Turn on the constraints. Alright, I think we're good there. We have managed speeds, managed heading, managed climb. Looking good. We don't have a departure frequency, it looks like. They didn't assign us anything at least. Alright, so we are ready for pushback and engine start. Let's go ahead and turn the beacons on. Let's have Joanna request pushback and engine start here. Actually, no, we're not yet because I don't have the APU on yet. Let's turn on the APU first, otherwise we'll get a... the electricity currently is fully relying on this GPU, this ground power unit. And if we don't start our APU, that's the engine at the back of the plane here that's starting up. If we don't start that up beforehand, before we push back, then we will lose electricity. We'll only be left with batteries, which won't be enough to power all the systems that we have. There we go, starting to hear the beautiful engine sounds here. Let's go and pick a nice wing view as well. We'll go and switch to these ones from time to time. Yeah, very nice. This one I really like for some reason. Just feels so real, this view. Right, let's go inside. Let's have a look. APU is available, yeah. You can see that here as well, looking good. Let's turn on the bleeds. That will be helpful, essential actually, for starting our engines. Actually, if you look at pressure, no, not pressure, the bleeds rather. The bleeds, you should see the APU there, and if I turn off the bleeds, that should actually reflect as well. Yeah, you can see the bleeds are from the APU are cut off, and we will need those to start powering up the engine. So that is an essential part that I often forget, unfortunately. Now we're ready for pushback and engine start. Good.
Cebu Air 647 ready for pushback and engine start.
Hey, Ninja
Cebu Air
Fox, welcome to the
647
stream.
pushback and engine
From
start
the
approved.
Philippines originally.
Pushback
So-
and engine start approved. Cebu Air 647.
Nice to be flying around these parts again. Okay, good. So we have our clearance for pushback. Let's go release the parking brakes and reverse. Well, that won't happen because the tug isn't connected yet. Bro, you're slacking. Okay, let's put in the parking brake for now. You can see if I've missed any messages. I think we are good. We are still going to take off for now, yes. Welcome to the stream, guys. Flown in the flight sim level D flight simulator in Hong Kong? Unfortunately not. I would like to. I've flown in a flight simulator here in Singapore. Although it's not the flight simulator that real pilots use. It's more of a tourist attraction, so it doesn't have all the details. So it's a very simplified version. Actually, it's sometimes even more simplified than what we have here in our simulators in the desktop. So I would like to experience the real thing, but I'm not sure how to make that happen. We'll see if that adjusts. Okay, that looks good, right? So parking brake now really going off, and now we can reverse. There you go. Awesome. Let's go ahead. That looks good. Then let's go start our ignition and let's go with engine 1. Why not? N2 is rising. That's a good sign. Now where will we be facing? There's only one exit. There are actually two, but we will be runway 27, so I will do a lot of back taxiing here. So we'll have to turn to the left later in a bit. Let's turn to the left there. Yeah, this is where using your rudders for steering will be helping. You can see engine number 1 starting up. Very nice. Yes, I can speak Filipino. Musta pre? I was born and raised in the Philippines, only moved to Singapore a couple of years ago. There you go. Let's line that up with the taxiway. Looking very good. Thank you for the follows, guys. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are enjoying. Yeah, not the most organic. You know what? Let's just stop there and I'll adjust it later on. Good. Thank you, pushback guy. Parking brake. Remove the tug and we should be good there. Engine 1 looks good. 20% N1. Looking good there. Alright, let's start engine 2. And this time, let's stay inside the flight deck so we can monitor the situation and hear the sounds. Alright. Let's see. Let's turn off the bleed there so we have our engine monitors properly. N2 rising. Ignition starting. We have the oil pressure rising. Oil temperature. Is that the oil temperature? Yes, indeed. And we have the N1 slowly but surely climbing up as well. Now we do have a lot of other indications here. We'll clean those out later. But this is what I really like about the Airbus. Aside from it being so automated, it's just so intuitive. If you forgot something critical, it will remind you. Doesn't leave you hanging. Born in Portugal but moved to Canada. Ah, nice. British Columbia, yes. Those sound familiar, those places. I think we've flown or driven through those in truck sim. We might have flown through some of them, that general area in flight sim as well. Alright, looking good. We're ready to taxi. Not much of a taxiing, but fine.
Cebu Air 647 ready to taxi.
Cebu Air 647 taxi to runway 27, hold short runway 27.
Or
Taxi to runway 27, hold short runway 27, Cebu Air 647.
starting to mistrack IR, so why not? Let's have it in. Enable that, there we go. So that we can get some head movements in here. Rudders are working. Brakes are working. Let's check our flight controls. Yes, that's working right there. We can see in the PFD, and if we go, that should actually automatically change as well, but maybe when we start moving. Alright, taxi lights going on. APU can actually go off. We have both engines good already. And I think we're good there. Parking brake can be released. And let's move. Takeoff part in real life, yeah. Looking at the wing view, right, and everything. It's something I try to record every time. But it depends on the airline. Some airlines are strict, right? And they don't allow you to record or use any electronics during takeoff. Now the winds don't seem like they favor 27 anymore. Based on that windsock, it looks like runway 09 is a lot more perfect, but fine. We'll see. Maybe that's just an inverted windsock. Okay. There we go. Alright. Oh, we have to turn off the ignition here. There you go. Things loading. Give it some time. We have the takeoff checklist there on the, what do you call this page? ICAS now. There we have it. Flight controls are working. Good. Flaps, set that to 1. Auto brake to max. Ground spoilers will be armed. Let's let cabin crew know that we are about to take off. That's the one I forgot. There you go. Now, why are they not telling us anything? Let's say that we're holding short. Maybe I have to move forward a bit. Let's see. One sec, request takeoff. Holding short, runway 27. Well, we'll just say it that way.
Tower Zepu Air 647 ready for departure runway 27.
Not that realistic yet.
Zepu Air 647 winds are 301 at 6 knots cleared for takeoff. Runway 27.
Good.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27 Zepu Air 647.
The cabin isn't being checked. Why not? There we go. Okay. Takeoff config. Test. It looks like we are still missing something. So we'll turn on the weather radar right here. And the predictive wind shear to auto. And now there are no complaints from the ECAS. Right. Let's do a back taxi all the way to the beginning of the runway. Looking good there. Strobes are on auto. We need the other lights. Yeah, let's just turn on everything. Wing view not really needed. Beautifully done airport, this one. Yes, this is the dev version. I tried the stable version. I was not impressed with it. It seemed very lacking. But the dev version is a lot better. And it's interesting, it actually literally gets updated every couple of hours or so. Whenever someone pushes an update in GitHub, this one, the dev version, updates. Oh my goodness. I hope there's a U-turn at the end of this. Otherwise, we might have to go on the grass. Now, remember, we don't have a flex temp here, so we'll be going full toga here during takeoff. That should be okay. That should be okay. Okay, no VORs to tune into, that's fine. Weather looks pretty good. Experimental version is not being updated at the moment and is out of date. Oh, is it? I see. Thankfully I didn't try that. Yeah, the experimental version is the one which has the custom autopilot, right? but it's still very much a work in progress from what I understand. There is a U-turn slot. What do you call this technically, guys? This U-turn slot thing. Right, nice. Let me double check that OnAir is tracking us. Yes, indeed. Okay, good. I did notice that my performance, my frame rate is not as good as with the CRJ. I think at the moment, really, the optimization is the optimization that Microsoft has done is a bit biased towards the WebAssembly modules, the one that CRJ uses. And look at how stuttery that is. Here we are, looking good. Alright, so now we are ready for takeoff. Apply forward pressure on the stick. Throttles to 50% just to check they're stable. 50%. Alright. Releasing the brakes. And toga. Off we go. Indications all in the green. No problems in there. 80 knots. Releasing forward pressure. I love that sound. Approaching V1. V1. Rotate. That is beautiful. Positive rate. Gear up. Start our climbing left turn here. And let me hand fly it for a bit. Unlike in the CRJ, where you have so many things to do, here you keep your hands on the stick, keep your hands on the controls, and just fly the plane. Actually, in addition to flying the plane, you can actually also look outside the window.
647, contact Manila Center on 128.3. Have a good
Going
morning.
back to lever climb, thrust climb here.
Center on 128.3 Zepu Air 647.
128.3. Okay, let's turn on the autopilot for now because I have some radio stuff to do. But first, let's go ahead and disarm the ground spoilers. And once we reach that S speed tape there on the speed tape, we can then retract the flaps like so. Looking good. Alright, so now let's switch to 128.3. That's the frequency, center frequency. And I'll get back to you guys in a bit, okay? I see the chat moving in my periphery. Alright. Let's see if I can say things and if they will understand me. Center Cebu Air 647, climbing flight level 150.
Aircraft calling center, say again with your call sign.
Cebu Air 647, climbing to flight level 150.
Cebu Air 647, good morning. Radar contact.
That works, there you go.
Cebu Air 647, slow to 220 knots or less.
Oh, that's what we forgot, yes. They did say that in the chart
Air 647.
to limit to 220 knots. Yeah, that's what I didn't follow. This waypoint. After we reach this waypoint, Victor Papa 414, then we can move to 250 knots. Let's go back to wing view again. Enjoy a bit more the scenery. And that just looks so real. Right, wing views for the win. Yeah, exactly my points as well, Monkey. Both of them are amazing planes. Alright, we're past that waypoint, so we can go back to 220. Let's go back to managed speed here. Looking good, everything looking stable. Seatbelts can go off. Go off. At nose light, let's turn off. At 10,000 feet, we can turn off the landing lights, and at the same time, the plane will pitch well, maybe it won't pitch forward, but it will increase the managed speed to 290 knots. And with that, we don't need the track IR anymore again. So yes, the track IR part is very minimal. It was still getting captured. Let me put both of this in. I'm gonna get this game, loving takeoff and all that, in first. Yeah. There are a couple of nice flight simulators out there. 10,000 feet, there we go. 11,000 feet, let's switch to standard QNH. Also on this side. And we can turn off the landing lights now above 10,000. Looking good there. No white things, no exceptions. Looking good. Yes, we are good to go. Nice. We'll fiddle around with the systems in a bit. Just double check that we're doing the right things here. No traffic. No, we just took off. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Just the lights here. Oh, it's a bit more natural. Gonna miss your connection.
647 climb and maintain flight level 230.
230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230 Zebu Air 647.
That's also one thing I like about the dev version. You don't have to press the altitude anymore. If you're given a higher, if you've been cleared to a higher altitude while you're still climbing. In the stable version, you had to press it. SAIRA above 8,000, yeah, looks good. No problems meeting that restriction at all. How are you, Reddit? Thanks for joining. So the temperatures here in this area, 19 degrees, well, 1 degree static air temperature. Not too shabby. Definitely not as cold as one would expect from maybe your parts of the world. Bleeds coming from engines. It's nice, most of these are working now. Hydraulics, fuel, APU is off. This one is working as well. I guess if we change the things, one sec, let's try it. If we want the cockpit to be colder, we can move that, and ideally that should actually change that one as well. Yeah, you can see it became 22 in there, so that's the desired temperature, I think, and then eventually that would change the actual temperature. There you go, going to 22 now, bit by bit. Quite nice. So nice to see that that is actually simulated here too. Doors ideally should be closed, that would be great. Wheels are up. Flight controls looking good right there. No problem. Good. Cabin, one sec. Oxygen 1700 psi, okay. Cabin altitude slowly climbing. Should be fine. Pressure wise, we have cabin pressure slowly climbing as well. I hope that's automatic. Well, we'll hear if we get a problem later on. Constraints not working, yeah. Which is interesting because I shared a video, I made a video on the A320 months ago when the sim first released. And it was interesting because that video, the constraints were still working. There are timestamps in that video if you want to check. You know that video I have where I say VNAV works? Because in that video, VNAV really worked. Like, there was an altitude constraint to be at or above 18,000 or flight level 180. And the plane literally stopped there at flight level 180. It leveled off there. And then after it crossed that waypoint, then it continued descending. So it really respected the altitude constraints. So I'm guessing what happened is the default A320neo probably has a little bit of thing there. Oh, that's bad. I think we got disconnected. Yikes. Well, we'll continue the recording nonetheless. So I think what happened, and I'm not sure about this, you can confirm it with me, is it actually the default A320neo from Microsoft has that, and maybe the fly-by-wire guys removed all of that, something along those lines, maybe. Oh crap, even the pilot to ATC is getting an error because it's getting from the internet, and looks like my internet connection got broken. Yikes. Let's see if that works on its own. Oh, so far I think it's still bad. That's okay, guys. We still have each other for company. I'm going to continue recording this. Ay ay ay. Let me see. I hope it's still recording at least. Yes, it should be. Okay. Alright.
Air 647,
oh, there we go.
contact McDad Center on 127.5. Enjoy your morning.
127.5. Okay, looks like internet is back. I'm seeing things pop up again.
Center on 127.5 Cebu Air 647.
Alright, I think we are back. Are we online again, guys? I think we are. Alright, let's switch back. We're back, guys. We're back. Sorry for that. The internet connection had a hiccup. 127.5. Let's report in. Report. Check in.
Cebu Air 647 climbing to flight level 330.
Cebu Air 647, good morning. Radar contact.
Yeah, thankfully not. Thankfully not. We're back, right? Should be. Okay, we're live again. Goodness, that doesn't happen often. Not the best weather right now. I love that bassy engine sound. It sounds so real, like you're really inside the plane. Not much of a view though. Very stormy here, but based on the precipitation and all that stuff, the weather radar doesn't seem like it's complaining with what's in front of us. So these are hopefully nothing dangerous. It might be a bit of in risk of icing though, but we'll see. When there's an indication of any icing detected, then we will adjust as necessary. Oh, now that's interesting. We have those arrows in there on the MFD, which is promising. I think this cyan one should indicate our selected altitude, so we'll be reaching flight level 330 by then. And this one I think is the top of descent, but I'm not sure if that's working correctly. There you go. So the engine anti-ice detection has kicked in, so let's turn on our anti-ice measures in here. Let's also check from the window if there's any icing that's building up on the wings. We should see that on the leading edges in front, because those are the ones which are really have a lot of contact with the air. That looks good so far though. No problems there. Not going to be very scenic, but hopefully going to be fine nonetheless. Let's see where we are. Okay, it's updating now, thankfully. Looking good. Not that we'll see anything below anyway, because it looks like we are in the middle of the sea here. But it should be nice nonetheless there. 113.9. Zamboanga. Is that the next waypoint we're going to? Zamboanga, indeed. The Zamboanga VOR. Let's tune into that for additional guidance. VOR frequency would be 113.9. I have to get used to saying decimal. This looks like over these parts they use decimal to indicate the point. Hey relax, how are you? Made it just in time because we just came back from a disconnection issue. Good morning. Flying from Puerto Princesa to Davao today. Hopefully the overlay is still working fine. More details should be at the top of the screen. I think also the flight status, the progress of our flight should be indicated there. So if you see the bar, there's a blue part and a gray part, the thin bar at the top, that's the progress. So we are about reaching close to 1/4 of the flight, I think. Yeah, it was a disconnection. I got disconnected from the internet. So much so that Navigraph disconnected. Pilot to ATC couldn't load the voices because these are Amazon Poly voices, right? Cloud voices. Thankfully, I didn't get disconnected from Microsoft itself. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Too early to tell. Yeah, looks like indeed flight level 330 looks like that indication right there where we will be reaching it. Looks pretty good so far. What I really like about this dev version, this dev build, is this throttle detent kind of thing. Perfect for my controls. At least finally now I am able to put use of this huge middle detent in my throttle. Put that in the climb detent, so at least there's a use for it. Quite nice. Now the fly pad, how do you guys use this? I don't have a big use for this at the moment. It's quite nice. You can get sim brief, the weather and everything. It's a bit redundant with what we have in the MCDU. But I guess eventually when this gets developed more, we'll have more stuff in here. Yeah, you can refuel here, a bit more realistic looking. You have a top of descent calculator because there is no managed descent at the moment, so it's up to you. So they help you a bit with the calculations here. So you can put your SimBrief user ID here, but be warned that when you type things here, it will still recognize the hotkeys. So for example, if I type the Clumsy Geek, when I press the Y, it will enable slew mode because Y is the default for enabling slew mode. And I don't want to do that. So I think what they need to do is to either disable the hotkeys if possible, or if not, they just put in a virtual keypad in here, a virtual keyboard, so you can type stuff. Because right now that's a no-go. It can be very dangerous, especially in the middle of the flight. So I'm not going to press that at the moment. There are also a lot of other settings in here, but they're not enabled yet. I think even this PTU sound is not... yeah, you cannot enable it, I think. That's why we didn't hear the barking dog. At least I haven't heard it. Fuel and top of descent calculation. Nice. Press Alt-click to show in separate window. Which one? This one? Can work? This tablet? Oh yeah, it does. Nice. Cool. Oh, and in here you can type in the company separately, is it? I'll hold you to that. Hopefully that works. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, that works. Great. Great tip, thank you. Okay, so now I close that. And then now if we go and get from SimBrief, we should get those details correctly. There you go. It got the airports, the times, the even the weather, the metars for both airports. Quite nice. And now we can actually load in the OFP here. The text is not well formatted yet though, so the spacing isn't really readable that well. So I still prefer reading it from the actual browser, the PDF. But other than that, looks pretty good. Payload is still not there. It's okay. Looking pretty nice. Good tip there. Thank you. Let's turn that off. Yeah, exactly. I like that bunkie. That's the one I'm using now. So we do the simple calculation of knowing where the top of descent is by doing that altitude to lose times 3, divide by 1000 times 3 to know where the start of the top of descent is, and then from there I just set an FPA of -3 degrees. We'll see if that works later. So this thing, there's still icing? Oh, interesting, okay. Interesting, because we should be out of the clouds already. Man, that is a beautiful looking plane. I really like the Cebu Pacific livery. It just looks so happy. It looks so festive. You know, it looks like you're going on a vacation. Whoever designed this did it very well. Quite nice. So later, I think in reality, they only use this for landing, but we can do this FPA thing, and then we can go to open descent maybe, and then you can set the FPA, the flight path angle, to -3, so we don't have to compute the actual vertical speed necessary. It will compute it for us. We just need to know when that point is to start descending 3 degrees. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. So how has your experience been with the A320, guys? I know a lot of you have been flying this a lot longer than I have. I have not flown this a lot yet. Not for quite some time. We are somewhere in the middle of Puerto Princesa and Davao. We're actually 142 miles from Zamboanga in the Philippines. It's also cool. Man, I love the look of these clouds. It's also cool because I get to hear of these places. Actually, in reality, I have not been to many of these places. I always plan to go when we go back to the Philippines, but I haven't had the time. But I have heard of these places a lot because my dad used to travel a lot. He was part of so my dad was a physician, a surgeon, and he was part of the board, what do you call it, board of directors. So they used to travel a lot because they were the ones who were certifying hospitals. So they went to hospitals all around the country. And he would always be like, from every week, every couple of weeks, he would be traveling in the country. And I would hear about these places, and they'll be sharing photos, sharing food, photos and sites. And I was kind of traveling through him. And now the closest I could go is at least looking at the different airports. Oh yeah, my dad went here. My dad went to Zamboanga. My dad went to Davao. My dad went to Lawag. Although I have gone to Lawag, so some places I have gone to, but many places still not. So it's really great to be able to travel through that here virtually, at least. Quite nice. Let's have a look at the wing view. A320 on OnAir frequently 2 to 3 times a month. Nice. I have been flying this now for the probably 3rd time this week, because I've been fiddling with it, and I love the lighting of that wing. It just looks so real, doesn't it? So the next piece, thank you. Beautiful. My GPU is actually getting fully taxed here. Hopefully you guys are not lagging. See the wing flex in there and whatnot. It's really nice for landing, isn't it? No worries, LL. Thanks for hanging out. Catch you next time. Cool. Interesting that we are staying here in the middle of the clouds. I wonder if we cannot request for... I wouldn't want to risk it. We can in Pilot to ATC request for a higher altitude for the cruise, but my fear is they might be confused with the top of descent when that happens. Like they're not sure when the descent would start. The calculations might get screwed up, so I would rather not risk it. That only means we'll have to keep anti-ice on though. Let me see if we can turn it off if the warnings will come back up. I'm afraid they will. Negative 32 degrees static air temperature, negative 4 true air temperature. Yeah, I think you're still at risk of icing in here. I think, what was it, negative 40 SAT was where icing wouldn't happen anymore, supposedly. I think. Let's turn on VOR 1 here. There you go. So now we also see the VOR. We're tracking the same VOR in the waypoint. So Zamboanga, 111 nautical miles, the same as that waypoint. At least we have an additional reference in case the GPS messes up or something. A backup navigation. Looking good right there. Good. So in the meantime, let us study the arrival and the approach that we are expecting. Hopefully that doesn't change. So here is where we are. Zamboanga, that's the VOR that we're going to. And from there, continuing on Whiskey 10. There's another VOR there. And then the arrival starts at LINAO, this green thing here. So if we look at the arrival, we'll be starting from LINAO, Dewin, and it's basically above restrictions, mainly because there are mountains here and we don't want to be anywhere near these mountains, so there are altitudes we have to maintain and stay above at. So 6.5 at Clafu. The problem is with our flight plan in the sim, I think there's still a bit of limitation in there. Let's look at this one. This is the same problem we had the last time. If we go to flight plan, go to the arrival, we actually have ILS 05, right? So that's okay. And we have the Lina 2 Romeo arrival. No via, no transition. So it should be that based on this flight plan, if you look at this one, we have Lina 2 Romeo. So after the arrival, which is Arpas, this waypoint Arpas, the next point would be the final approach for ILS 05. Yeah, that one. So there's a broken line there because that's probably where they would expect some kind of vectoring or a direct instruction from ATC. But it should be going to, the important point is it should be going to Arpas here, Wico and then Arpas, and then going to the runway. But so it's Clafu, Wico, Arpas basically. And then what's the name of the waypoint here? Is there nothing? Probably not. Okay, anyway, DME. Distance from the Davao VOR. But if you look at the flight plan, LINAO, Dewin, Clafu, and then immediately there is a Davao in here. Like we're not even going to the Davao VOR, because that Davao VOR is this guy here, the VOR right on the airport. So that means we'll be overflying the airport. So what it's actually wanting us to do is from Clafu, it will go straight to Davao. So in our flight plan, it will go from Clafu direct Davao. It will do that shortcut here. It will not follow that point, which is very weird. So I think by the time we hit Clafu, we'll have to manually do this. We'll have to switch from a managed heading to a selected heading. and will instead follow. You'll have to remind me about this, guys. So at Clafu, after we reach Clafu, we'll turn right 168, heading of 168 degrees, or a track of 168 to be more accurate, and then we will manually follow this path. We'll see how that works. Yeah, we'll see how that works. But yes, it's a bit more manual. Shush. Let's see if ATC will guide us along the way, or we'll have to fend for ourselves. In the last flight, in the video yesterday, we flew from Manila here, Romeo Papa Lima Lima, that airport, southwest to Puerto Princesa here where we came from. And it had the same problem, that the flight management computer here, the MCDU here, is a bit not the best still. I think there's still a few holes in there. 312, is that accurate? Let's see. If you put in Romeo Papa Mike Delta 05, runway 05 at this airport, 265.7. Okay, that is adjusting, and this one is 310. But this one is track miles. So based on your waypoints, if you're doing zigzags or circling around based on the waypoints, that's what it is. This one in the progress is the direct distance. Okay, so let's do some computations here. Actually, that's interesting. There's an optimal cruise of flight level 370, and we're only at 330. Interesting why SimBrief chose 330. Maybe it saw something different with the clouds, the cloud layers. It's not always consistent. Okay, anyway, we will see how that works. Hey Jaguar, workhorse of Clumsy Airlines. Yeah, I know, right? We are working on a job right now, and we should be earning a lot here. Oh crap. Okay, there's something weird here. On air, because I got disconnected, looks like we are in offline tracking mode. Unable to reach on-air world during your flight, the tracking is now in offline mode and you cannot quit the tracking page before the end of the flight. When finished, we'll be able to register it. No data will be lost. Okay, that's good. So it looks like we got disconnected, but it's still recording the flight. So hopefully that would still work, because we have a job right now that would earn us, oh, it doesn't say. This is an urgent job, last minute bonus as high as it gets. Would earn us 1.8 million on this job alone. And then we have icing on the cake, 9 business class passengers to sweeten the deal. Okay, well, we have that. How are you doing, Jaguar? Enjoying flying in the sim again, in these airliners, for something different. Sorry, I realized I missed a message there. Wolfgang, if you're still here, yeah, I hope that helps. Flying in the sim gives you a bit more confidence with how flights really go. How flights are and how many redundancies there are to ensure that we have a safe flight. And unfortunately, not Reddit, airports in the Philippines not back to normal. No, I think there is minimal activity in there. I was talking with my friend yesterday, the real pilot. I was asking him questions, and yeah, I don't think he has been able to fly in the last couple of months. Some because of simulator issues, like you have to get certified before you can fly again in real life, but you have to fly in the simulator first, but the simulator is in a different country and you can't get to that country because of the travel restrictions, so that prevents you from flying in the first place. So those kinds of problems, I don't think it's quite there yet. Doing good. Great to hear, man. No worries, bro. No worries. Get back when you can. We'll be happy to have you. 81.8% and 1 fuel on board 5600. We should have, okay, estimated fuel on board 2.6 by the time we get to Davao. 2.6 tons should be okay. We should have more details on that as well if you go to the init page and this one, fuel prediction. 3.7. That's different from what was in the flight plan, interestingly enough. Okay. Final time 65 tons cross weight. That's okay. Bad nav. Fuel prediction. Right, let's do some computations now. So we are at flight level 330. Davao is let's see. Davao, let's load the airport as well. Francisco Bangoy. It's a very straightforward airport. ATS 127.0, tower 118.1. Airport elevation is 100. We can just ignore that rounding value rounding error. And we can compute 330, so we need to lose 33,000 feet during our descent, so that's 33 times 3, that's 99. So we should start our descent 99 miles before our destination. So that's the distance here when it becomes 99. That's more or less how it would go. Oh, the estimated fuel on board looks better now, looks more aligned. Interesting. Okay, that's good to see. So 99 is the magic number, and then after that we'll adjust flight path angle, and then we have to make sure that we meet the altitude restrictions, because even though those altitude restrictions are plugged in here, like at Clafu we see that it has a 6.5 in there, although it does say there. Does anyone know what this minus means? Because for me, I understand this as below 6.5. Like a while ago, we had an above, like this SAIRA, right? SAIRA is above 8,000. That's why there's a plus. If you compare that with the departure chart, SAIRA, if that will load, are we still connected? Somehow it's not loading. Okay. Am I still connected? Are we still on? I think we are. We'll see how that works. Okay. Hey Cornetic, thanks for joining. How are you? Might have to restart Navigraph here. Let's see. Hopefully that loads well enough. There we go. Loading up everything. Load up. There we go. That's the. So here in SAIRA, it says, you guys read that the same, right? Above, at or above 8,000. So that's consistent with this one. But when we look at the arrival, Clafu, that's a minus. So it looks like it says below 6.5, which I highly doubt, because you have mountains there. So that is above 6.5, right? Clafu above 6.5. So it looks like that's still not dependable. And even if it is, even if you plug in something there, yeah, we don't have managed descent yet, so that will not be respected. So we have to basically be relying on our own stuff here. We are heading to Davao, flying in the Philippines. Came from Puerto Princesa to Davao. Thanks for the follow, Cornetic. What do you often fly? Are you a flight sim fan as well? Man, this Airbus is such a convenient plane to fly. Most of the stuff is automated, and those that are not, they guide you every step of the way. It's such a nice plane to fly. Very user friendly. Oh, that's Zamboanga right there, I think. Yeah, that's Zamboanga indeed. Let's go and check out the wing view here. That's more like it. You like simulators? Good. Fit right in then. Gentle left turn. Joining the Whiskey 10 airway. Hey, Urban Orange. Good evening. Good. That is so relaxing to watch. Oh, that looks even better. Oh my goodness. I like the look of that. Yeah, it's a bit intensive. My GPU is getting maxed out right now, interestingly enough. But that's because I'm also recording and streaming. That's additional load on the system. Interesting. Man, that looks nice, doesn't it? The clouds just add so much to the scenery. I have a 3080 and it's still getting maxed out. Oh, there's actually an airport there at Zamboanga. Nice. Looking good. Let's have a look. Costos at what is that icon right there? That plus. Interesting. Let's go. That's Cotabato. 113.7. Let's go and tune that as well. 113.7 for additional guidance. There we go. Cotabato VOR has been tuned. We see it 116 miles. That's the one in front there. Looking good. Runway? Not so sure. It is a VOR. But yes, there is an airport in there, I think. Cotabato Airport. Romeo Papa Mike Charlie, by the looks of it. Maybe. If we actually turn on the airport here, that should load up. It does take time, I think. Last time I tried it. But that will get filled with airport names. We'll wait. Let's wait for it. Yeah, looks like the flight level 330 makes sense now. We're actually staying below this pretty, what do you call it, overcast cloud layer. Right above. Airport's loaded in yet? Still not, takes a while. That's okay, don't need that. Stick to the constraints so we know when we get to the arrival. We have the weather radar on. No traffic in sight. Unfortunately, I guess that's very close to real life over here right now. I hope it gets better soon though. Hope it gets better soon. So we did say 99 miles is going to be our top of descent. Let's have a look how many. Okay, we have 100 miles to go before we descend. Looks like. Is it possible to put in like radial rings here on the MFD? I doubt it's plugged in. It's in. Yeah, I don't think so. If I remember correctly, there should be something, a menu here in the upper left first, which allows you to have that like radial. Maybe it's not implemented. It's more an icing on the cake. Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason. Well, one of the main reasons. Missing traveling in real life, and this is the closest thing we could do for now. Right. That one I have the prog put in the runway 05. But I would like the, you know, like we have in the Boeing in the 737 or in the CRJ, like you could put radial rings around a certain waypoint. So I could place like this runway 05 with a 99-mile radius, or radial, not radial really, distance ring, yeah, distance ring. So you have that entire circle and you have a visual on when you would hit that 99-mile mark, so you would know when you would start your descent. You have a visual representation of it. I don't think that's modeled in here at the moment though. Yeah, the banana is such a helpful thing here. The Boeing banana on an Airbus, the range to alt. We need some kind of that thing. If we don't have managed descent, we need those tools. Otherwise, it will be very crude for us. But it's quite nice at the same time, because what we'll have to do later is, for example, here, Cotabato, 87 miles. This 153 means we'll be arriving there at 153 Zulu. Right now, it's 141, so that's in 12 minutes. So at least you have like a time to go. And based on that, you can adjust your descent so that you are, so in this case, for example, how many minutes is that? 41, 12 minutes or 11 minutes. If you need to descend a certain altitude, you can adjust your descent rate, feet per minute, based on those 12 or 11 minutes. A few calculations required, but nothing fancy. It looks like, yes, we have been able to avoid any further anti-ice mechanisms in here now, thankfully. Yes, that's a good point. The Cebu Pacific mini contest. Thank you for joining and following, by the way, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Yes, for those who are not familiar, Cebu Pacific is one of the biggest airlines in the Philippines by now. It's a budget airline, so you don't have, by default, you don't have food, you don't have the extra stuff. It's very bare bones, and you have to pay for everything. Pay for water, pay for snacks, pay for luggage. You know, pay for everything. Everything is an add-on. And one of the things that makes them very unique, let's stay in the seat here so we can feel it. Can we stay here inside? Can we have a look? Oh, we can't span the camera. I can do this using track IR though. One sec, there's a trick here with track IR. So I can move my head with track IR even if it's a fixed camera. Oh, there's nothing. Okay, it's not modeled in. Okay, I see. I thought I could cheat it a bit. Anyway, so there is a contest in Cebu Pacific for most flights. They have this mini game. What is it? Like kind of Bring Me, right? But they ask for, or I guess it differs from time to time, but the most often I've encountered is the Bring Me. And they basically ask for something and then you race the object. You don't really go to them because it might be dangerous. So you just race it. The first one to race and gets the prize. But personally, I used to hate those. I still hate those because oftentimes it would take a Cebu Pacific flight because it's cheap. And it's cheap because it's a red-eye flight. It's in the middle of the night. And in the middle of the night, you just want to sleep. And sometimes they have games while you're sleeping. Like, oh, no, just let me sleep. Don't disturb me. So oftentimes I'm not a fan, but it's a very iconic perk. That's true. 172, 148, yeah, looks good. But what we need to rely on is this one, the 99 miles here. But pilot to ATC, we do have ATC coverage. Pilot to ATC is taking care of us. And based on pilot to ATC, we actually need to descend in... Oh crap, that is actually not working. Maybe because I got disconnected, I don't know. I hope that works. Let me show you. That's bad, that's bad. So if you look here, guys, that's the top of descent. Yeah, before we reach Cotabato, So our descent, that's usually consistent with the 3-degree descent rate. So that's a good indication. But in addition, normally you would have a top of descent here. But look at the distance, it's actually increasing, as well as the ETE. Normally this would be a countdown of how long before top of descent arrives, and that's usually a very helpful tool for when you're going AFK. You have to get back before that time. But I think because I got disconnected, things got jumbled up and now it's all confused and everything. So I'm not sure how that works. Can I say direct Cotabato? Because I think it's detecting somehow that we're... You know what? I don't know what it's detecting. But yes, let's see what it will guide us at. Worst case, we just work without ATC. Sometimes bring me or just ask random super easy questions. Oh, enter destination data. This is where the cool stuff begins. Okay, let's do that. So let's go to MCD menu, ATSU. Does anyone know what these acronyms mean? All fancy acronyms. We can say, I think there is an ATIS in Davao. Let's try it. Romeo Papa Mike Delta. Okay, let's send that.
Zepu Air 647 expect the Lina 2 Romeo arrival with the LINAO transition for the ILS approach to runway 05 at Francisco Banco International. After COD cleared, direct LINAO.
Good.
Expect the Lina 2 Romeo arrival with the LINAO transition for the ILS approach to runway 05 after COD cleared, direct LINAO Zepu Air 647.
The 8 is not available. Okay, we'll have to stick with METAR then. So weather request METAR for both of these guys. Let's send that. That's sent. Let's wait a couple of seconds before we can receive it. I think we have to like leave in return. Oh, my emotional intelligence is going down with this. There we go, METAR. Okay, there it is. So now we can print that, and the cool stuff is once we print that, that actually gets printed in here. I really like that. It's a novelty. It's quite nice, and then you can put that there. So when you need to plug in the destination data, you can actually go and see right there. So we have approach phase. QNH is 1011. Temperature is at 27 degrees. Winds are at 030 at 4 knots. Transition altitude would be 130, I believe. 13,000. Let's double check that with the arrival at LINAO. Yes, flight level 130. Good. And then the baro, the minimums for the ILS, let me show you that one. So where I looked at this one is at LINAO. The arrival chart, it says here transition level, flight level 130. And the minimums for this approach that we're making is 392. Straight in landing, runway 05, ILS, decision altitude 392. So that one I plug in as well under baro. Radio is only used for Cat 3 approaches, I think. Something along those lines. Looking good. All right. The cat is back. Yes. For now. All right. Let's see. If you zoom in a bit. Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever, that Davao transition in there. At LINAO, we'll have to really take care of this on our own. So let me load in the departure chart here, and at Clafu rather, after we reach Clafu. But we should be descending soon. 40 miles from now we should start our descent. If ATC doesn't give us the indication, I think I can request it. But I'm not sure what their reply will be based on that info that we've seen from them. That weird, what do you call it? Weird timing because of my disconnection, I think. He got in trouble during that time. Anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Cebu Air 647, descend to cross LINAO
Oh, there
at
you go.
flight level 200, then descend via the Lima 2 Romeo arrival with the LINAO transition to 2,200 feet. QNH is 1011 at Francisco Banco International.
We'll cross LINAO at flight level 200, then descend via the Lima 2
00,
Romeo arrival with the LINAO transition to 2,200 feet. QNH is 1011 Cebu Air 647.
Good thing our co-pilot read that back because I actually missed it. 2,200. 2,200, okay. 1011. And then we'll compute for that new thing, that new restriction. So we need to cross LINAO at flight level 200. We're at flight level 330. So that's 13,000 feet that we need to lose. 13 times 3 is 13, 26, 39. So when we are 39 miles away from LINAO, we should start our descent. 3-degree angle. And that should be more or less exact, pretty close with a 99 miles away from the airport. So it looks like that's a perfect 3-degree descent anyway. So just gave us additional guidance by the ATC there. Pretty cool. We'll see how that works. But I think I will try and descend a bit faster. Although we do have headwind, so we do have that as an advantage in terms of descending. But I'll descend a bit faster anyway. 39, right? So actually 44 miles. Yeah, that's pretty good already. So let's limit ourselves here to 6,500. Switch to 100 here. Alright, let's go to flight path angle. Let's go and say 3 degrees. And let's go to open descent. Does that work? Oh, I should pull it first. There you go. Okay, thrust idle, open descent. And now we should be descending at a 3-degree slope. I hope that's enough. We'll see. 30-degree descent angle. Oh my goodness. Might be a tad dangerous, huh? I think it's better they go to the roller coaster. Engine is super quiet now. Flight level 200. Let's do some computations along the way. So we'll be there at 1:58. That is 5 minutes from now. 4 minutes from now. 4 minutes. We're descending at 2,300 feet. Oh my goodness, that's too much math for me. That's too much math for me. So 3,000 feet per minute times 4 minutes is 12,000. Yeah, I think it's good. More or less. We should be crossing LINAO at flight level 200. If not, then we'll adjust as necessary. What we can do to make it more professional is actually keep this at 20,000 here. So that we're sure, even if we miss our computation, that we'll be staying at flight level 200. It will not be going below that, even if we overshoot or even if we over descend. Beautiful. The satellite images in the Philippines aren't the highest quality, unfortunately. Thankfully, we have the clouds to more than make up for it in terms of visuals. And that looks really good. Okay, are we continuing? That actually... Why does that go away? 3 degrees. Is that automatic? Okay, let's see if that will push through. It will keep that way. do some computations here. 158, 3 minutes. 3 minutes at 2,000 feet per minute is 6,000. Yeah, look at that. So we lose around 6,000, more than 6,000 feet in 3 minutes when we'll arrive at LINAO. So that lands us exactly at flight level 200. I like. And then from there, let's do an additional computation. Now I think we can just continue with a 3-degree descent. 89, yeah. Let's just continue with a 3-degree descent angle. Looking good right there. Can I turn on track IR already? Yes, its frame rate is a bit smooth now. That's also one reason why I try to minimize the use of track IR, because when the FPS is low, moving the camera can get a bit dizzying with all those low frame rates. So I try to limit the camera movements in those low frame rate situations. Looks good. Now if I'm looking at the airport, runway 05, we have winds at 030 at 4 knots, so just a slight tad headwind. We have 9,800 foot runway, so I think a low auto brake should be more than enough. I don't think we need a medium for that. I hope I don't regret this. We'll see. Alright, how is this going? 158 right now. It's 1 minute to go. 1 minute losing 2,100 feet. I think that's not steep enough. Let's steepen it a bit. Yeah, just increase it by a tad there. Yeah, unfortunately these kinds of things are a bit manual at the moment, but it gives an additional interesting point. 7 miles to go, 158, 2,500 feet. Be there in 30 seconds. It's not bad. Yeah, we can make that work. Should be close enough to 200, and then we can change that further to 6,500 feet. So are we going to cross LINAO at flight level 200? Sure looks like it. I think we can make that 3 degrees again. Looks close enough, right? Looks close enough. Yeah, I'll take it. Alright, so let's say 200. We need to arrive at the airport. We need to lose 20,000 feet. We need 60 miles. Okay, we're actually descending a bit early. That's fine. We'll make it work. Looking good there. Continuing our descent. 3-degree descent at this rate. Looking good. Do we have any speed limitations, speed restrictions? Not really. No, we do have max 230. Although I think that might only be in the hold. Yeah, this one is what I'm not sure about. We'll see if pilot to ATC complains there. Max 230 knots, max flight level 130, MHA 65. I think that's for the hold here, but not for the actual waypoints if you're not holding. Maybe. You guys let me know if you have more details on that. Also, weather radar seems to be picking up something. Just slight precipitation in there, some green, yellow areas, nothing fancy. Should be okay. Descent phase starting, approach phase starting at that point. The D, I think the D stands for what? Diesel? Looking good. But yes, at Clafu we will go to heading mode, actually. So we might actually need to steepen the descent here, because at around 11,000 feet we'll want to slow down so that we are below 250 knots. We'll see how that works. Or you can just say, yeah, I'm not sure what the best practice is in here yet. Oh, we should have this view of Mount Apo from this angle. Is it that one? I think that's Mount Apo. Yeah, the satellite images are not the best, are they? We'll have to fill it with some other details, like clouds, trees, and whatnot. Fill in the imperfections. Quite nice.
Zepu Air 647, contact Davao, approach on 122.4. Good day.
122.4.
Approach on 122.4 Zepu Air 647.
Good. Let's report in. Descending to that altitude.
Zepu Air 647 descending to 2,200 feet.
Zepu Air 647, good morning. Radar contact. Continue descent via the LINAO Romeo arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 05 at Francisco Bangoy International.
Continue descent via the LINAO Romeo arrival for the ILS approach to runway 05 Zepu Air 647.
Okay. 13,000 feet. Let's switch to local QNH here. 1011. And then at Clafu we'll need to manually do the approach because the flight plan is wrong. So let's pull on that heading knob. Yes, let's maintain this for now. Yes, we'll continue on track here. Flight path angle. Let's start slowing down here. So I think what that will do, because we are in open descent. Now let's open descent. There you go. So what it will do is it will slow down the descent to meet that speed. We're a bit high though, but we'll see if we need some speed breaks along the way. Good. How many miles to go? We need to lose 11,000 feet. 11,000. That's 333, 3 degrees. Okay, we still have a bit of adjustment, a bit of allowance. There we go. Starting our descent again. Good. 250 knots. Alright, reaching Clafu soon. Start turning. Turn right to 168. And then let's turn on our landing system here. So we get ready to capture the ILS. Let me double check that the radio is still tuned in. 109.1. That should be okay. Double check anyway. 109.1 indeed. 050 on the course. Just in case. Oh, that's not working. Okay. Alright. Looking good. Turning to the right. Looks all wrong, but I think in the end that's the way it should be. There it is. The localizer has been tuned into IDAO India Delta Alpha Oscar 109.1. Looking good right there. We see the localizer taking shape. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now we need that. We're not descending fast enough here. Go there. Let's compute this. 16 miles, 8,000, so 9,000, 27. Yeah, we'll need to really descend hard here. I think what we can do is we can go to open descent, 230 knots, but we will go max speed brakes here, if that has any effect at least. Should be above 5,500 here, above 4,000 at Arpas, 8.5 miles away. Yeah, looking good, looking good. We should be mostly in the proper path here, guys. Yeah, those are the mountains that they were warning us about. Good. Turn that off to save up on FPS. Activate approach mode. Yeah, we will do that as we make our final turn to the runway, which is 050. Okay, good. 050 will be the final approach course. When we start our left turn,
Zippo Air 647 QNH is 1011 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 05 at Francisco Bangoy International.
QNH is 1011 cleared for the ILS approach to
Nice.
runway 05 Zippo Air 647.
2,200 is the final approach fix. Good. Why is that not... Have we not entered the approach phase yet? Yes, confirm approach phase. Why did not trigger? Interesting. There you go. Where are we? We need a visual reference. We have to start our left turn now. Maybe around 080. Now
Zippo
we
Air
will
647
on the
QNH is
approach.
1011 at Francisco Bangoy International Contact Tower on 118.1. Enjoy your morning.
QNH is 1011 tower on 118.1 Zippo Air 647.
We don't have clearance yet. 118.1. Good. How are we doing? I think that's looking pretty good. No, that's the final approach course. I think it's a bit early. So we need to...
Zippo Air 647 contact tower on 118.1.
Contact tower on 118.1 Zippo Air 647.
There you go. Now let's make our turn to 080. Switch. Report our approach that we are inbound for the ILS.
Zippo Air 647 inbound for ILS approach to runway 05.
2,500.
Zippo Air 647, good morning. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 05, call when established on final.
Looking good. Looking good there. Gears going down, flaps 2. We have the localizer armed. We're just waiting for glide slope. There we are established. So let's go ahead and announce that we are established for the approach.
Zepu Air 647 established on final for ILS runway 05.
Being good there.
Zepu Air 647 winds are light and variable, cleared to land runway 05.
Seatbelt signs on. We still have speed brakes. That's the one I forgot about. My bad. There you go. There it is. And flaps going full as per schedule. Is that full now? There it is. Not too shabby. Davao looks pretty busy. Because I vectored, yeah, it's manual planning of the descent, the 3-degree flight path angle. Worked pretty well overall, thankfully.
1000.
Do we have any stutters coming in? I'm going to raise this to 4,000 feet for the missed approach altitude. Looking good. There's the stutters as the airport loads in. Awesome. Alright. Getting rid of the autopilot in here.
500.
No. Approach.
500.
I was playing with the settings too much. Focus.
400. 100 above. Minimum.
Land. Bit high. Make it work.
200.
Winds a bit coming from the left. Should be minimal impact.
100.
Looks good right there.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Wow. Might be a bit harder than I
Zepu Air
anticipated.
647 exit runway when able.
You guys feel that? Of course not, right? my bad. Oh man. Thought it would be smoother than that. Reversers. Looking good. Auto brakes going off. Oof, my back. Butter landing. What's the opposite of butter? Oh my goodness. I think, yeah, Ryanair, it is the equivalent of Ryanair Airlines. Cebu Pacific. It's just the clumsy flying. Oh, my bad. Right, let's turn on to here. Good.
Clear of
That's
active
good.
Zepu Air 647.
Zepu
Hey,
Air
Urge.
647, there is no ground control at this airport. Let us know if you need taxi instructions.
Start the APU here. Let's look for the gate here. My back. That was so crunchy. Oh my goodness, I'll have to watch the replay there. Might have a bit, was a bit too mild on the flare. No, not a carrier pilot, a sim enthusiast. Looks good. I think we can line up there properly. This is not a custom airport. I think still waiting for. I think someone is planning to make a payware airport here. I think maybe CloudSurf Asia simulations as well, but no one has done a payware airport in this place yet. I think it's a work in progress. Looking good. Brakes, nothing is overheating. turn those on anyway. Did I press the right thing? No, that's not the one. The brake fan to cool them down faster. Alright. APU is available. Let's turn off the taxi lights, turn off those seatbelt signs. Looks good right there. Let's turn off the other lights as well. Just keep the beacons on. And now we can shut down the plane. Good day, hey Aussie. Just in time to finish the flight. Looking good there. Right, did that finish at least? It did, it did. There it is. Thankfully, they did not say you landed so hard you got a minus. So thankfully that turned out well. Looks good. Comfort, safety, aircraft handling bonus. Yeah, it's a safe landing. Let's put it that way. A crunchy landing. Let's have a look how much we earned. This should be huge. So this is our personal account. Yeah, I think I earned a lot there. I earned 700, around 750,000 just the pilot's pay. Wow, in one job. Compared to before, I only earn around, what was it? Like this one, I earned like 120, 150. This one is almost close to $1 million. Nice. And this next one, if you go to the VA itself, if you have a look, go back to the main menu there. It's okay. Let's have a look at the debriefing for this flight. $803.6. That's quite good. We earned like 1.1 million maybe. Let's have a look for the VA itself. So we started off is that us? Yeah, that's us. So we started things off, let's say this is the starting point, 802.5 million, and then we got the earnings, and then we paid the pilot, which is me, the other job, and then my payment. So we ended up with 803.6, 803.5. Yeah, that's 1 million in income in a flight. That's what, an hour long, hour and a half. Oh, great payment. The goal is to reach that 1 billion mark, and you guys are more than welcome to join the VA. We can group together. We have some people who are active at the moment. A couple of people are on a hiatus, but there is someone. Oh, that's us. There are some people who go online from time to time, and that's how we got to that point, to 800. And the goal is to continue going up till we reach that 1 billion mark. That's going to be a huge milestone for the airline. And until then, I'll continue flying the flights here in the Philippines, enjoying and maybe practicing on the landings for that matter. Anyway, let us end it there. It's a bit earlier than usual, but starting a flight is a bit off the mark. Will overshoot the time, so we'll end it here. So anyway, thank you guys for joining. Glad to have you on this flight and looking forward to the succeeding ones. Let's see what the third-party developers will bring us. Some new planes, some new sceneries, and what Microsoft will update on their own. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Clumsy flying, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye. Nice flight. Thank you. Catch you soon.